Now, in this connected world that we live in, privacy is quickly becoming more of a luxury than actually a norm. We live in an era of smartphones with cameras and all forms of technology, so no one can actually remain anonymous. But what happens if your day job requires that you put your life out there? Everybody knows about you because it's, in a sense, part of what you do. What does luxury...
It's part of the whole bag.
Exactly. What does luxury actually mean for you? So we want to talk about life in the limelight. We want to talk about the double-edged sword that is fame. And joining us are people who know a thing or two about that. Let me introduce them to you. Starting from my left, we have Johnson Mwakazi. He's a media consultant. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Pierre McKenna, a DJ. Thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you for having me.
We also have Kambua, an artist and TV host.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with us. And Mad Max, who is a gengeton artist. Thank you for joining us. Asante sana. And Zinzi Kibiku is also still here with me.
And Wega Mauro, it's been a minute since you came back, so it's great to have you as well.
Reminding me,
yes.
Okay, I will bear with that. I will bear with that.
I'm going to shoot at you first because you walked in and interrupted me while we were on air.
sorry.
So you're going to have to take the first question.
Okay.
Would you take this back? Would you take back the fame? Would you take back whatever it is that has found you where you are? Would you want to have a normal life?
I wouldn't take it back. So this is my normal. I wouldn't take it back. It's taken a lot of adjusting, but I'm grateful because I prayed for the influence. I asked God to give me the influence so that what I'm doing is not just for Kambua, it's for people, to change the lives of people. So it goes with the territory.
Right.
It's difficult, but I'm grateful for it and I wouldn't change anything.
All right.
Yeah.
Media Max.
Yeah.
Here you are Mad Max rather. You are
That's very...
a big, I'm so sorry about that. Mad Max, you are a big artist within the genge world, and it is the new wave of the, even he is our DJ.
That story.
Just like, it's a new wave, and so what people are listening to. So, E-Fame, have you been able to handle it so far?
Nimekuwa ngumu kuhandle fame, but na thank God nimekuwa catch up na juu nimepata vitu mob kama sasa hivi nimekuwa nje hivi. Kuna vitu mob get new na kuna zingine improve manze. Yeah.
Okay. For those who might not know you, maisha yako imebadilika vipi since you got into the limelight? Like, give them specifics of where you've come from so that they can identify with you.
Like mimi nilikuwa ghetto na nilikuwa na struggle kama wasanii wengine wenye wana come up juu. But for now I think kuna step nimemake. Kama sasa inaweza fika hapa nibonge kuhusu wasanii vitu kadhaa. Yeah, that's a step.
Okay. Vera, let me bring you in as well. You tell me in your own words, what challenges do you think public figures face today in Kenya, in East Africa? How do you explain that to someone who's not from the region?
I think it's just for the simple reason that you can't be yourself. Honestly.
You can be yourself.
You cannot be yourself.
Explain to me.
Like me, I'm a very bubbly, happy person. I love dancing. I love doing everything. But at every moment you're being judged. So you might find I might just come here and try to look all nice and whatever, yet maybe I'm just gangster and I like sitting like this, you know. But now I have to come and sit here
right
nicely.
Now, maybe this is not the way you sit.
No, dude, you can even tell. See, we don't
give
like
give
it
us
like
an
that
example
anyway.
of when you had to put on a different mask because you were in the public.
Oh, those are so many places, like when I'm not DJing, for example, and I have to go out and maybe to a club or whatever, and I have to sit down and, watch people and just, sip my water, just because I don't want people to start thinking, oh, is she the one, dancing to Gangaton and, doing all those funny moves? And maybe in the house I do them. So like when I'm in the public, I get to be more, I'm more conservative.
So
like
knowing
I'm not,
that, would you take back your fame? Would you exchange it for that normal pajamas, ponytail
I don't want to
life?
say yes and then God is like, boom, you're no longer famous, I already love it right now, but different world, I would love to be a pediatrician, quiet at home, just go meet my kids in the hospital and just have a good time with them and go home and no one is bothering me, no one is trying to take pictures. I wouldn't mind that. But you know what? I'm here, so hey.
It is what it is.
So God, don't take it away. I love it. I love the fame now.
Okay.
But I wouldn't mind if things had turned differently. Yeah.
Okay.
Mwakazi, you've been in media for a very long time. What lessons can you say you've learned about this thing called fame and the double-edged nature of it?
Well, I think, first of all, it's very critical for us to know that it's a privilege. For any person to sit down and recognize you and clap for you, it is indeed a great privilege. I look at myself and I realize people have invested in me, whether it's my parents, whether it's other great celebrities.
Even the public.
Sure. And at the end, I realize, wait a minute, it's not just about me. And if I take you back to, say, somebody like Whitney Houston, I remember she was being interviewed by Oprah. I mean, great artist, got into drugs, and there was a question she was asked. How is it that you didn't take care of the national treasure? And all of a sudden, it was like a shocker. Whoa. I was just not my own. I belonged to.
What was the national treasure in that?
That voice. Yeah. That
the voice was okay.
Exactly. Whitney Houston, this great artist, and people celebrated her.
It was more than just her at some point.
Exactly. So for me, I look at it, it's a privilege that comes with a great, responsibility, but it's also an opportunity for us to make a difference in the lives of other people out there. To tell them that, you know what, there is something that is inside of you. There is a reason why you're still alive right now. There is a reason why you're here at such a time as this. To make a difference.
You have a very optimistic perspective about what people should do with fame. But do you think a lot of people that you interact with who are famous get into it because of that, to make the difference, to change lives? Do you see that as a drive?
Well, I believe there are people out there. Of course, the reason why we are even having this conversation is to change the thinking that so many people have, because there is a lie with it's vainglory.
Vainglory.
It is vainglory. Think about it. Today you are in the limelight, and then all of a sudden something happens. It can be an accident. You can lose your job. You can lose something.
Right. I want to pitch that to Mad Max.
Yeah.
Vile, you've become famous, and even right now with the wave of Gengetone. Unaona kama maisha yako, has your life sort of changed? Do you have more friends? People want to hang out with you more? More people are asking you for money, favors. Now you've become a well-known, recognized face.
At first, kabla hata niko FM, manze wasa kuwa na show up, naweza kuwa na show, hakuna msana kam, naweza hakuna friends, hakuna mse hata ananisupport.
Saizi mabazenga wako suni sort.
Sasa nimetokea hivi hata mtasi hizi tembea tu ile normal ati niseme niko free, sasa unajificha ficha tu manze ndo ufike mahali unadai. So
wacha nikuulize, how do you know your real friends sai as Mad Max na wale wako hapo tu just because you're famous na siku hizi when do they eat thing?
Manze kimi naona my real friends ni wale wenye tumekuwa nao tangu days za struggle mpaka sasa nimekam niko place fulani na bado wako na mimi. Then kuna wale wana join up, so hapo ni kujua nani ni real nani ni fake. Juu kuna wale wana join ndio ni wa real na kuna wengine ni wamekam tu kuhang tu jo.
Kambu, I'd actually like you to pick up on the same one, just being able to tell between who really supports you because of who you are and who supports you because of the name. But also tell me this, how would you define privacy in your life right now? What does that look like?
The privacy in my life is where I draw the boundaries, where I've drawn the lines.
Are there things that are in that box called privacy in Kambua's life?
Yes.
What are those, for example?
My family.
Okay.
So the public knows my family exists, but I have protected them from knowing details about them, and that's my choice. You know, there's other people who that space is okay to put out there. For me, it's not. So I keep my family away, I keep my husband away, I keep my now son away, you know, I keep my mother away. It's a choice I've made that there's something I want to keep for Kambua, and also to protect them, because Kambua chose this life, but mommy didn't.
You didn't ask them first.
So I have to be, I find myself even at times wanting to share something or to post something, but then I'm thinking, how will it affect my brother when I share this story? He is not necessarily consenting to us sharing this story, something that our family went through. So it's just been me defining and redefining where those lines are over time. And sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't get it. When I don't get it, I go back and rework it. So it's not, I don't feel like I've figured it out completely, but as you go along, it gets clearer what's
Let me ask you, now that you've brought up the issue of boundaries, which I think is fantastic, then is there a difference between Kambua, the lady that is behind the scene, the mom, the wife, the sister, the daughter, what we don't get to see on TV, and Kambua, the TV personality? The reason why I ask this is that you give an example of Whitney Houston. Beyonce says that she's a different person when she's on stage from the person that is
Sometimes
behind the
gives
scene.
herself a
different name. So do you feel like you are comfortable to be are those two different people, Kambua the person in public and Kambua the person in private, just for the sake of boundaries?
So I don't feel like I'm a different person, but I feel that there's an extension of me that doesn't get exposed to the public. So that extension of me is the Kambua who will be at home, who needs to figure out what people are eating, who, you know, who wants to travel, who wants to do all these things, who wants to just blow bubbles with my baby who's drooling all over. That's the extension of Kambua that's not in the public. So it's not, I don't feel like I'm a different person, and I don't have an alter ego.
You don't have another name for
No,
the
I'm
other
just
Kambua.
Kambua. It's just Kambua. It's just that there's different spaces that allow me to expose a different part of who I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Piera, tell me this. Walk back 10, 15 years to your younger self. What would you tell them to avoid any possible mistakes you feel you may have made in this space called fame?
I think some of the mistakes that I personally did were to believing in other people and not believing in myself. I could believe what people say, but not what I really feel I can do. Like, for example, I can come and someone says, I really don't think you can DJ, you know? And I'm like, actually, I don't think I can. You know, so I used to listen so much to what people say in the name of they have more experience or, you know, they have the know-how or whatever. But I used to listen a lot to what people say until I realized I can tell myself something and then I can do it. So it's about being myself and accepting who I am and now trying to make it through with what I believe I can do. For example, when I started being a DJ, not many people believed in me. They were like, are you crazy? What do you mean? I mean, chicks don't do this. And you know, I was among the first female DJs to do this, and I got a lot of feedback. People are like, you know, that's not your thing.
To your face?
Yeah. And even on TV, people would discuss it. And people even
on
send
TV
me
shows?
texts, yeah.
Like you are the
Yeah,
topic.
like, do you think these female DJs who are coming up are going to make it? Do you think it's a career for women? And every time I just sit back and I'm like, am I sure this is my thing? And
Was that because they were analyzing you in terms of your skills, or you as a person?
both skills and as a person. They look at you and they imagine you're not supposed to be this. You know, you're not supposed to be a DJ. Piera doesn't look like a DJ.
So even though they were talking about you, they weren't talking about your skills, perhaps what you needed to do.
But then I didn't even come out to show my skills. I was just there, like, you know, putting word out there that I want to be a DJ and, you know, doing it on radio, trying out different places and making surprise appearances. And someone would be like, I don't think that's the route you should be taking. And then, you see, when I sat down and believed in myself, I was like, actually, that's the route I should be taking. And I made it. And that's one of the things that these young people are going through. You want to try something. Look at the gengetone. You guys, how many times have people told you that you couldn't do it?
Yeah.
The first time I almost dismissed it myself. I was like, what is this? You know, when that song that you guys did that we couldn't play in the station.
Don't even mention the name.
Yeah, I can't.
Right now it's
you know?
morning TV.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? But look at them. They've you know, they put the effort, they believed in themselves, and they've not listened to what people around say. And that's what's making us even like it more. So it's about believing in yourself, being yourself, and accepting who you are, and don't listen so much to what other people are saying.
I know that we're due for a break, but I have a quick question for Mwakazi. Mwakazi, we saw you on screen daily for what, 10 years? Easy.
Wow.
Right?
Sure.
And then one day, we no longer saw you there. And because I used to work with you, a lot of questions I used to get asked is, where did Mwakazi go to? I'm sure you asked that question as well. How was that transition from sort of that in-your-face, everyday person to now having to start this new part of your life? And did you face a challenge because you're so used to having been recognized by the public for your daily sort of engagement with them, but now suddenly...
I think what he's trying to ask, did your phone ring less?
How did life change?
Did your phone ring less?
Well, first of all, just to appreciate the place of Citizen TV, because if it wasn't for Citizen, people wouldn't have known Johnson Mwakazi and this voice. So when I left, of course, there was a gap because the question was there, so where did you go? But I will tell you, everywhere I went, people connected me to Citizen. Regardless of the little thing I was doing out there, people would still say, hey.
You know this guy from this place.
Absolutely. And it really goes back to, in fact, I would say this, if we were to watch this interview 20, 30 years from today, would we be proud of our comments, our questions? And so when I look back, I say, maybe I could have asked a different question. Maybe I could have said something different that would have changed somebody's life so that they can always remember. So that's what I learned. 10 years with Citizen TV. When I go out there, it's literally a product of what I did.
So the fame never leaves you. It's like a shadow that you have to carry with you.
Although she has asked you a question that you haven't fully answered. Did the phone stop ringing? Did the calls reduce in us? So you even begin to wonder. We've heard of PSS saying they thought their phone had died, because the phone just stopped ringing. And dealing with that internally, did any of that happen for you? And
well, because what we do here is, well, at least on TV, people see you, and when you go out there, they call you maybe for a fundraiser, for this, for that, for that, unfortunately. So when you're out there, now you deal with people one-on-one. They may not call you that much, but when you go to schools, because now you have more time to go and engage with them, so you're walking, people stop you.
The people who used to call you when you were Johnson Mwakazi just because of your TV job then, can you say that they still check up and call you today?
Politicians,
no,
superstars, whoever it is.
Even friends and family. Even friends and family.
For instance, people would call you because they want to be on TV. They want to be interviewed. There is something, they have somebody they want. They want attachment and all that. So they will call you when they see you constantly. So all of a sudden, they stop calling you. Okay. So that you see a tremendous change. And this is the kind of a job when you're employed, they can see you. So when you're not on air, they know something is not working out. So those are the challenges that you go through as a personality. But ultimately, what I really said that really stands out for me is when you have that opportunity to be in the limelight, it's an investment. What do you do with that time? Because because it's like a window that comes and closes. Maybe it's your age. And when you're out there, people will remember what you did, what you said.
Will you take a commercial break? If we continue with this, we probably might not. But when we come back, I want to hear from Mwakazi, that investment that you're talking about then 10 years ago when you were here. Do you get to see it like that when you're on air?